You are listening to an all-new episode of the Model Experience podcast, live from the Model House.
The Model Experience is the #1 resource for models. Real models, real stories, real resources.
Visit themodelexperience.net to learn more, and be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Model Experience.
All right, you guys, welcome back to the Model Experience podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in.
And you know we're the #1 resource for models.
Yes, real models, real stories,
Real experiences.
resources, experiences. You got it. We
got it all. We got it all.
Well, we have a super special guest in the house. I know we say that about every single guest, but really every single guest
It's super
is really
special.
special. Everyone has like a different perspective. So whether it's a model, photographer, you name it, it's good to have different perspectives.
Yes.
So today we have a unique perspective. Today's guest is Rick Villa.
Hello.
Hey, you may recognize him from Project Runway, huge celebrity designer. He's also doing our fashion show.
Check that out.
Yes.
So thank you so much for coming on, Rick.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, today we just want to hear more about, well, a few things, but I want to get started with, I guess, Project Runway.
Yes, of course.
So how was that? Tell us about working on Project Runway. How did you get selected?
It was an amazing experience. I would do it again, all over again if I could.
Nice.
But so we'll see if All Stars.
All
We'll
stars.
see.
You
if
got
Bravo
our-
I'll be your
wants it.
model.
My problem. I know that would be amazing. But I actually have applied twice. So the first time I got kind of far, to the casting director's auditions, and then I never got the final call back. But the second audition was it was pretty easy. It was like the day before. I just emailed all my information, my videos, and they actually called back and I made it. So
Nice. Do you think it was it was just your timing, or like
it was
the
definitely the timing.
persistence? Or?
Yeah, it was definitely the timing. I know the first time I went, the critique was, you still needed to learn. They really didn't know who I was, and I think 5 years later, doing it again, I think it was best for me because I figured out who I was. I did the bandana stuff. I was making a lot more stuff, so I really knew who I was as a designer then.
Nice.
That's dope. Timing is important. So
Definitely.
sometimes it's not rejection, it's just protection until you're ready, I guess.
Yeah. I do believe that timing is so essential. Tell me what it was like working with the judges.
With the judges, it was actually pretty amazing.
Yeah.
They were very receptive to like my designs. He kind of gave like these interesting critiques. It wasn't really like, okay, it was amazing, it was bad. It was just always like
subjective.
very subjective.
That's dope.
But that's what he does.
Yeah. So he was kind of like, do what you want. And I was like, are you sure?
Wait,
That's right.
I feel like they have Christian doing the same kind of thing.
Definitely.
Where he's like coming in. Like,
Definitely. I think with him, it's a little bit more intense because he'll be like, oh no, why are you cutting it? And then the designers freak out. So it's,
and then they'll just cut the mess the whole
Did
thing.
you have any freak out moments?
not so much. I think with Bravo, they air more of those like freakouts.
Yeah.
On Lifetime, it was more so just about like the designs,
Right.
the stories, of course,
Yeah.
and just the designers themselves. Yeah.
Did you work with one model the whole time, or was there like different models?
It was different models every single time. Yeah.
Did you guys have any input with your models, or was it pre-selected?
For us, that time was all pre-selected. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We didn't even get to choose them like if we won or anything. It was also always assigned to us. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was definitely interesting working that
Well,
way.
that's like how the model experience
Oh,
is.
definitely. Definitely. It's real life.
Real life.
So you created like a huge trend that I love, the Bandana Trend.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of celebrities wearing it. Who are some of the celebs that have worn your stuff?
In the past, when I first did it was Ciara, Big Sean, Lil Wayne. Lots of like big names did it. Yeah.
Nice.
It was really fun. I actually just brought it back because it's 10 years later and it's all coming back. So
what was like the inspo behind that? Like, how do you that's amazing that you literally picked something and it became a trend. How does that happen?
it literally just started with bow ties. I was doing just bandana bow ties and pocket squares. And then someone was like, oh, do shorts. And I started doing shorts and the button ups and it just became huge after that.
And I'm just wearing a bandana.
That's crazy.
That and Etsy really helped a lot. So
Etsy.
because I was selling it on there on the marketplace and it just blew up. Yeah, it was
You know
insane.
what? You'll find the coolest stuff on Etsy.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously. That's where I usually go to like get my little unique pieces.
And they have their own search engine, so it's like all over the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you
So
feel
is
like
that a good place to find new designers?
I would say as new designers, that's a great place. Yeah. It's hard as an emerging designer coming up with your own stuff, getting your own website, just to traffic people to that. It's a little bit harder. So, with Etsy, it's all over the world. There's people viewing it from everywhere, so it definitely helped out a lot. Yeah,
That's a
I
little.
think that's where that's where I got most of like the Australian customers and Taiwan, Asia, Korea. It was
So it really opened you up to the masses.
International, baby.
yes.
So give me some model do's and don'ts. We work with, obviously we have hundreds and hundreds of models you're about to work with for the show.
I know.
As a model myself, I'm always looking to, hear different perspectives from designers, everybody across the board.
Yeah.
So give me some model do's and don'ts.
Do's, I would always say do's are just always show up very positive, very grateful, and just, be like ready and about the whole process and willing to like, take it there.
And what's a don't?
Don't. I don't know. That's a tough one.
Oh, are you sure? Because like bells are ringing.
I know,
Right. I'm like, hold on. I've got a few. I got a question. I'm like, wait a minute.
Like, don't show up drunk. That's probably like a good one.
That's actually a relevant and big one.
Don't show up hungover.
Well,
I think it's definitely like a.
How important is it for a model to really like your stuff? Because I know everybody has like personal style or whatever. Does it matter to you whether the model's like, this is not really my vibe? Does that throw things off, or is it kind of like as long as the model's ready to work and it's professional, how much does it affect if that's not somebody's personal style? Do you feel like models should just come to work and do what they're doing?
I think for the most part, I haven't had any too much issues like with that. It was mostly like, it doesn't fit well, or they're uncomfortable,
right?
And that I can totally understand.
Yeah,
but
like everyone likes.
He's like, but don't not like my shit.
I just want people to be comfortable in the end, especially on a runway or even in a photo shoot. You kind of want the model to shine and be comfortable and show their
you
personality.
can read it in their face if they're uncomfortable with it. It's kind of like you don't give your best work, so you do have to make sure you feel it.
Especially like on set when you're doing photo shoots and you realize, oh wait, it's not working out. Let's rechange this. Let's do it. Yeah, and then you finally get it. So,
For sure.
Well, that's the luxury of a photo shoot, because with the fashion show, it's just
I know.
It's showtime. It's a live show.
It's like what you get is just model it. You're a model.
Kill it.
Like just kill it. Wear it with all. And I think that's the dope part. Actually, if people embrace with modeling, you get to be every style. You get to try all kinds of trends. It doesn't just have to be what you're used to. I think if people open their minds up and say, what, today I get to dress like whatever it is.
I always looked at it like it's a challenge. Like even if there's been a lot of things that I would never actually wear in my life.
But you just enjoyed that day, right?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm acting. I'm this whole different character, and I'm gonna wear it down the runway, get some bomb shots, and
that looks good either way.
No, that's a great point. I think most models are open. They're like, oh, this is dope. Like I wouldn't normally wear this, but it's amazing. So I guess it opens them to new styles.
And so we're kind of excited about the fashion show. We want to know what kind of I know. I'm like, well, I ain't trying to look thirsty. I'm just saying. We kind of excited about, what can we expect from you at the fashion show?
On the runway.
On the runway.
Just give me some.
What's the vibe?
Right, the vibe is definitely going to be. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be lots of drama, and then
drama.
I love drama.
I just want it to be a very fun, like excited runway, and that's going to show from backstage to the runway. So we'll definitely make that happen.
Ooh, one final question. Can I walk this collection?
Yes.
Yes.
So you really want, you think you need to be clear.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so. Yeah.
All right. Well, you heard it here first.
Done.
So how did you get your start? Like, how did you know you wanted to be a designer? How did that whole...
I always say never really had the choice, to be quite honest.
What do you mean?
Right.
You said never really had
I never really had the choice.
It
just came about, well, I grew up with my mom and my aunts and grandma always like sewing, production, samples. Latin family.
Okay.
So I grew up around the machines. Exactly. I grew up playing with like machines in my cars and sewing like little sleeping bags and pillowcases for my trolls.
You're like on the trolls.
Yeah, on the trolls. So I think it kind of happened through that, and then just being in my room and like I was always so small, so tailoring pants to fit me was a little bit something how I started, and then just making like cuffs and stuff like that, and it kind of just became into this like I really want to make clothes for myself, and other people wanted it too, so it actually.
What inspires your collections?
I guess it is always would I wear it? Like that's the main thing. Would I wear it? Is it something that's very unique, especially nowadays. It has to be something that nobody else has. Nobody else can attain. Because there's so much on the market. But
so how do you do that? Special fabric, special like techniques.
Special fabric, special techniques. With the show that's happening, with the model experience, it's definitely going to be something that's. I mean, all the fabric is custom made, so it's really hard to duplicate. So stuff will be custom.
So how do you deal with that? Because I can imagine with your like bandana stuff, how many designers try to knock that off?
Oh, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
It was everywhere. I mean, it's just something that's going to happen. And for it to be 10 years and it's still happening, I think, just let them do them. And I'm going to obviously bring it back. I brought it back in all these multiple colors.
Yeah.
So it's definitely getting a big response again.
It's so interesting because a lot of these designers are doing stuff, and then you have these big corporations coming and biting, what they're doing. So it's always interesting to hear your perspective on that, because I've seen a lot of designers like ranting, like, you can't even let us have like one thing, and it's you guys are imitating stuff, and it makes it hard for you guys to sell the original pieces or like, It
does. I mean, nowadays everything's done and redone and pulled from the past. I think if you get upset or take it personal as a designer, go on Instagram and blow up and call people out. I think it's it's a little unprofessional. I've never done it,
It's not a good look.
It's not a good look.
Doesn't make me want to buy your piece anymore.
You kind of have to step up, and it's like, what else is new? What else can I do? What else is...
And be confident in your talent. It's like, I always say, often imitated, never duplicated.
Boom.
Okay? You can't duplicate this originality. You might imitate it, but you can't duplicate it.
We've had designers scared to show their pieces, and I'm almost like, that's combative. That's
right. That doesn't even make sense. How you
counterproductive. It's like, well, I'm scared because someone might steal it. Well, like, you should.
So you're never going to put it out.
You gotta put it out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you ever scared to put out looks?
No. There's a collection after this one that's already in the works. I kind of making pieces here and there, so it just takes time to do something that's like really cool and runway and drama. I think after being on Project Runway, like, the new designs are very like avant-garde, and the concept is not sellable, especially for the runway shows, which I think is a good thing. Because it's just drama and crazy, and of course people are going to buy it, but it's a good concept when you design stuff. So,
What do you think of the neon trend? Over it?
I love it.
Okay.
I mean, I only wear black. I design lots of black stuff, so I love it. For the bandana, I brought back like the neon, the yellows, the magentas. So it's pretty cool.
What do you think the next trend is? The next big trend?
Yeah.
Ooh, the next big one.
The next big trend.
I
feel like neon was big this season.
It was.
I think it's neon. I think honestly, it's going to be like slackers. So it's definitely like Clueless, the slackers, San Francisco vibe. Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone's like punk rock now. It's all.
That's true. We had a lot of models come to their shoots, and they were. That's why I can see trends too.
Glam
we have
rock.
photo shoots.
Yeah. Glam rock is back.
Glam rock.
Thanks to, what is it? Elton John's little movie.
Yes, Rocket Man. Yes.
Yep.
We both said it at the same time. We're like, Rocket Man.
So I think that should bring back like definitely lots of bling bling, glam rock.
Yeah.
Movies definitely influence fashion.
For sure.
Yeah. I think they kind of know the waves of it too, especially like the fashion industry and these huge designers and names. Like, they already know like, oh, this is happening. Let's keep going with it.
They're above the veil.
Right, above the veil. Exactly. So have you like been to Paris and Milan and all those places?
I have
so
not.
do you want to like, what is your goal for your line? Like, what ultimately, where would you like to see yourself? And
I think now, as I'm starting to see it, like, I do want to go to Paris and just work for a designer out there.
Yeah?
I mean, I figure I could take over one of these houses.
Take it over.
Your own fashion house?
Not my own. I think it's easier to do it. There's more resources to do it when you're working for like a huge house like Dior or Louis Vuitton.
Right.
It's almost unlimited what you can do.
Would that be like a dream come true for you?
That'd be amazing. Like, anything you want to do, it happens.
So almost like building your clout first so that you can go to them.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah. And that's what you have to remember. It's like, even though I'm still here in LA and like, it's still kind of low profile, you kind of just have to like keep doing it, keep doing you, because eventually someone's going to notice.
Pay attention.
Hopefully,
exactly.
in Paris. So we'll see.
Well, maybe they'll be sitting front row at our show.
Hopefully.
Putting it out there.
Right? We have to.
Well, a lot of good things are happening. We've been doing some big things. So
We've
I'm
been
very
putting
proud. I know,
that work.
That's an amazing show.
Anything is possible.
Yes. Cool. Well, we're excited. We look forward to it. Everyone can catch your designs on Saturday, July 20th at 9 p.m.
Ooh, ready.
At the LA Convention Center. Get your tickets now because we're almost sold out.
Yes.
Exactly. And then can you tell everybody where they can find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Rickvilla, RIKVILLA. And yeah, that's probably the best.
Tell them the Etsy page too.
Yeah.
And then the website, which is just rickvillashop.com. Perfect.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much. We're super excited to have you. It's going to be popping.
And that's a wrap.